Hi, today's video is all about allowing yourself to play, let go of perfection, and have some fun with some simple watercolor doodles. One of the things I really love about watercolor is that you can just kind of get lost in it. It's such a simple material, and the water is such an important part of why it's so much fun to work with. You can really get lost in it. For this simple exercise of doodles, we're just going to make circles, and they're just going to be one circle next to another on top of one row on top of another row. And they can bump into each other, they can collide with each other, and they can influence and inform each other. And that's the fun of painting this way. You don't have any preconceived ideas about what it's going to look like, but rather you kind of show up with the material and let it evolve as you paint it. It's kind of much more intuitive and organic way of painting, and that's what I really like about it. So I've got some simple watercolors in a palette in a little porcelain bowl that I've kind of started to pre-mix, and you can see that I'm just letting the watercolors bump and collide with one another and letting the colors bleed into the edges of each other. And I kind of rather like that experimentation. I found this paper. This is a smooth watercolor paper by Shizen. I found it at an art supply store. This sheet is 5 by 7 inches, and it's a hot press paper. And I don't usually use hot press paper, but for this I thought I would try it. It's got kind of an interesting, it's a cotton paper that's kind of fun to work with. So I'm gonna see where it goes. I like the way it's kind of pulls the watercolor into the paper, and it kind of really soaks it all in. I am using some simple colors today. I kept the color palette to greens and blues. The Cotman is a sap green. There's a sap green. There's a Holbein shadow green. There's a Windsor Newton Indigo, which is one of my favorite blues. It's such a great deep blue and mixes so well with so many other colors. And I have a Windsor Newton Aqua Green, which is another new color for me. I haven't played with it, but Aqua Green, it's kind of an interesting mix of green and blue. I also have a Windsor Newton Perelyne Green, and I'm using a Neptune, Princeton Neptune size 8 brush for this beginning part. And I'm not gonna say much more except that I don't have any preconceived ideas about this. I'm just painting in the moment, and I have no idea what it's gonna look like, but I will just be quiet and you can watch me paint. Okay, I've come back and I've let everything dry. Everything is completely dry. Now the fun part starts with the doodling on top of this dry watercolor. This is another place to just play and let go and have fun. I have no idea. Every time I go to play like this, I have no idea of what it's going to look like, but I'm just willing to kind of show up with a bunch of new materials or different things that make marks to kind of add embellishments and play with what's in front of me. What I've chosen today to add these embellishments is a Posca pen in emerald green, and it's about a medium size. It's one of those 1.8 to 2.5 emerald green pens. A Molotow, one for all black round marker pen. These are acrylic paint pens, and I'm just using them to add some interesting textures and shapes to the top of the watercolor. I also have this Uniball Signo black pen, so that it's about that. I think it's called an Impact 207 pen, and it has a pretty nice flow to it, and it's not too thick and it's not too thin. It kind of adds a nice embellishment on top of these watercolors. And I also have a Signo white ink pigment. It's one of my favorite white pens to use just to make marks and detail on top of watercolor. I think it's one of the better ones. And that's what I'm using here. One of the things I try to think about when you're trying to doodle is to try and find something that's different. You know, I like dots and I like circles, and so what else can I add that's going to be different? How can I find things that are different and interesting? Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.